Okay, so we just arrived here to Fort Francis. We're heading to Sunset Country Outfitters today. It's a little windy out, it's cloudy, but from what I've heard from owner Matt, the fish are biting, so hopefully we're going to be catching fish in just a couple of hours. So we're just going to load up the boat with our gear and then boat over to the island, unload the stuff, get checked in, and then get out fishing. Matt is backing down a trailer. We're going to load up our equipment. We're going to be out fishing very soon. The cabin that we're in has 2 bedrooms. Each bedroom has 2 beds, and they each have their own full bathroom. And it has a nice kitchen space as well, kind of living area in between the bedrooms. Full refrigerator, freezer, coffee maker, oven, and microwave. So if you do bring food, you got plenty of ways to prepare your food, because you even have barbecue. The dock is about a 1-minute walk. The boat's tied up to the dock right there. We're about to take that out. When you come here, Matt can put you on the fish, give you the waypoints if you do bring your own boat. And many of the guests here, they go out with him. So he has an all-inclusive package that includes guiding. He also has guides that work in conjunction with him as well. This is kind of my go-to trika for walleye, actually, and smallmouth bass, mainly like snap jig and walleye. A 7-foot medium power fast action. This is a 3X series from Trika. Kind of starting out with the standard go-to of 1/4-ounce jig with a 3.5-inch swim bait, snap jigging it for walleye and casting out and kind of snapping it, slow rolling it for smallmouth bass. Pretty much is about the best guarantee presentation in my arsenal. Okay, oh, we hit little one. Little, oh, there's a, I guess a, actually I can just slip this guy. It's a start to the smallmouth fishing here. They get way bigger. I got about maybe an hour left to fish, so let this one go. That's a big one. That is it. This is what, getting a little bit better. This was about just a couple casts after I just caught a small one, and then out here, and then, oh yeah, this one's got some fight to them. So I took off the 1/4-ounce jig that I was throwing for the walleye, and then just put on like an 1/8 ounce for some of the shallower water. I'm only in about 4 feet here, 4.5. So I'll just pick. Ooh, this one got a lot of, oh, still not done. Come here. That's a little better. That's a little bit more what we're looking for. Come here. There. That's a little bit what we want here up at Sunset Country Outfitters on Rainy Lake, and of course Sunset Country. And actually the sun is setting. Got about an hour. Oh gosh, that moon eye jig got there. Got about an hour left to fish. So I think smallmouth could be chomping a little bit. I'm gonna get this one back and kind of retie. I'm gonna retie my leader and get back to casting. Like that. Yeah, I was gonna say there's some boulders that were out in front of this thing, and spot lock right out in front of this. It came over them. I figured there might be a smallmouth out there, but got a walleye. Well, you know, that's one thing you do have at Rainy Lake. You got an excellent population of walleye, as well as smallmouth, as well as pike. In some of these areas, you can catch all three, just like we've had here. Little pike, and then a smallmouth bass, and then a walleye like this. This ain't a bad one, actually. It's a decent one. I was just slow rolling over some of the boulders out there, and this one is the first of the trip. A force size one. Got a couple small ones, but just on a little Crush City swim bait and a moon eye jig, just slow rolling that. Excellent. All right, got about half an hour left to fish on the day, so that's good. Pike, smallmouth bass, and walleye, and just a few hours of fishing. All right, morning time here. Officially, I guess this would be the first morning. We got in yesterday afternoon, fished for a few hours last. It was really good. Now we're jumping in the boat with Matt for some smallmouth bass and walleye. So the weather cleared today. We have some sunshine, the wind laid, and it feels very fishy. We're going to start out on some deeper spots for walleye, but I'm excited. The nice thing here, Matt is on top of the bite, so when guests show up, you're on the fish. Holy shit, that's a big pike. Yeah. That's a monster pike. Look at that one. Beautiful sunset country. Northern pike.
Underrated fish on Rainy Lake, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. This is a big one. And the Ontario Gold. So we made about a 5-minute run. And Matt, you mentioned that there should be some walleye on the spot, and it didn't take long, and you caught one.
Yeah.
What do we have here? What are we fishing?
Fishing a big mud bay. There's a gravel bar that runs kind of parallel with the boat here, and there's a bunch of bait on it, most likely emerald shiners, beach shiners, and there's a bunch of post-spawn walleye.
Here we
that
go.
are moving out of this bay, and this is the first structure that they're going to hit. A little better fish.
Yeah, I'm gonna be getting the net on this thing.
All right. Water clarity is super dirty, so we're throwing a little underspin jig. A small downsized swim bait on it. That's a big walleye.
That's a big one. Holy cow! This is a big one.
These are the ones that we're after.
That's a Rainy Lake special. Jeez.
There he is.
You gotta lift the net like that. Oh, yeah. All right. Wow. And you can see the weather's really nice today. And doesn't matter up here. The walleye bite, rain, wind, sun. That's a beaut. Oh, that's a big. Oh my gosh.
27 and a half, 28 maybe.
Yeah, it's the shoulders onto the back of that fish. It's real healthy. Yeah. Oh, big nice walleye. Really nice walleye. Yeah, they're stealing from this.
Somebody board them?
Yeah, you know. It's worth it. So when you're smallmouth fishing here, you can catch walleye, and sometimes when you're walleye fishing, you catch smallmouth.
You're just going fishing.
Yeah.
There he goes. Yeah, so we were throwing a little bit of top water around here at some boulder stickouts and marked a fish on bottom right below the boat and drop a snout head on him, and you got a walleye pretty well. Could have been a bass, could have been a pike. You never know what you're going to catch out here. The lodge is located roughly 5 minutes from the International Falls, Minnesota border, right in the town of Fort Francis. Very easy to get to. We've got three local ramps that you can put the boat in the water and be there within 2 miles. So access is pretty easy. So in 2022, with the record flood, we lost roughly 300 feet of dock. Luckily enough, we were able to replace all of them. We can fit roughly 16 boats. Makes things a little bit easier living on an island. Get your 3 meals a day with the corporate side or the all-inclusive side. Big three-course breakfast. You'll have a packed lunch. We don't do fish fries. We try and concentrate on catch and release when it comes to smallmouth and pike. Obviously, Rainy Lake, you have a 1 fish daily limit for a non-resident, so we usually try and get that out of the way. And majority of our boats, we're running 20-foot plus boats. Everyone knows Rainy Lake can get rough, and you want to have big gear for big water.
And the action, you know, especially in the summertime topwater smallmouth bass fishing is arguably some of the most fun and most exciting bass fishing you can do.
Little guy, but healthy.
Yeah.
Full of mayflies right now.
Mm-hmm. When that's a little smallmouth, you know you're on the right fishery.
Yeah. Tons of 16 to 18 inch fish out here. 2.8 to 3 pounds. Get him back in the water. I've made the big runs, you know, to go try and catch 5, 4.5 pounders, you know. And you come back and they're just as happy catching 52.5 to 3.25.
Yeah, if this is new to somebody that doesn't know topwater smallmouth, this has got to be like, oh
especially
my gosh.
Catching them on a
Oh my, that's a big one.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Coming up again.
Yeah, so the full experience you offer, you know, for clients, especially a number of your guests, they want to come out here for big smallmouth, and this is kind of what
we're after.
Yeah. We gotta chomp that thing. Oh yeah. Pliers.
Fish, Rapala X-Pop.
Yeah. Like that. Nice. And they get a lot bigger than this here too.
It's about 3.5.
Yeah.
Roughly. Healthy.
Mm-hmm. So our last full day here, and we got some overcast, a little bit of wind. It's still very comfortable outside, and we jumped in the boat with Matt. We're gonna fish for a few hours. Gonna go after some walleye, snap jig a little hair jig here, and then we're gonna switch gears to some topwater smallmouth bass. He has some areas that are protected from the wind. So what you have here, regardless of the weather conditions, for the most part, you can always tuck away from the wind here on Rainy Lake because lake is huge. So there's pockets, there's coves, there's points. No matter what the direction of the wind, you can kind of get out of it. And for walleye, sometimes you do want a little bit of wind like this spot. Nice.
Is that a pike?
Got one.
Do ya?
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, that's a big walleye. I got a big one on.
Yep.
Finally got a fin out of it. I thought he was way bigger than that.
Sounded right.
Yeah.
Still a nice one. They all sound so big when they strike.
Yeah.
Like,
There. Everyone looks like a 4-pounder.
yeah. I had yesterday, I'm like, oh, it's a giant. I mean, it'd be like a 2.5, but the sound of it, though, is just a violent, like, crash. Ooh.
We're just throwing some small 3/32 Northbound hair jigs on some offshore boulders, and there's some separated cabbage along them, and these bass are just moving out off beds and kind of milling out in the weeds. So. I don't think it's that big. It's spiky. A better one.
Yeah. So this is the final day of our trip here, and got a few hours, then we got to drive back. Matt is out with some guests that came in last night on Rainy Lake. As a lot of the walleye are near the smallmouth are near the walleye, so you can kind of switch gears pretty quick, pretty efficiently. And sometimes, you know, very similar baits, snap jig a walleye with a swim bait, or just cast up on the boulders and kind of slow roll it along for the smallmouth bass. It's just an amazing fishery with big fish. We're talking walleye, smallmouth bass, muskie, big pike. There's also big whitefish in here, and also Matt was telling me about big crappie. So oh yeah, it's a nice smallmouth. Nice smallmouth. Actually seen it swirl on the surface, so I threw a swim bait back on. It's kind of the other bait. I got a hair jig on, a top water, and kind of a tricky day for a top water. We can find protected bays, you know, that's fine. But this one, some of those bigger ones don't care about the weather. They do whatever they want to do. And many times, you know, a little swim bait like this is perfect. And especially here in Sunset Country and Rainy Lake, we got a little bit of time left to fish today before we drive out. But tell you what, if this is a good one, try to get, there's so many big, I'll just get the net in the back, but she really choked this one, so Yeah, I'll show you. There, just chomped that swim bait. And they get very big. This is like almost the average that, you know, we've been catching, just all around really nice sized smallmouth bass. And seeing some of the photos from earlier this season from Matt and his guests, you know, the bass fishing here is absolutely outstanding, as well as the walleye. And if you're interested in some kind of underrated pike fishing, Rainy Lake is definitely a location to check out for sure. Sunset Country Outfitters.